Here's my general message to everybody that was involved. I realize that a lot of you were lied to about me. And that's why a lot of the things that happened did. The war is over. You found out the truth. It's done. That was yesterday. I'm not mad, but I will be paid. A lot of you are experiencing karma, and I'm not going to do anything to interrupt that karma. It's well deserved. But a lot of you played a very small role and will receive very little. For that, I mean, good on you. Look, universal law and divine law were always going to play a part in this. And what surprises me the most is that a lot of you understood these principles but acted anyways. That's where I get confused. And instead of checking references, you chose to act on somebody's word in the orchestration of events in my life that fit a certain narrative of somebody who in their head was extremely sick. Meanwhile, while all of that was going on, I made a lot of very big moves in some very upper echelons, we'll call them, to change the world for the better. And it was as a result of these attacks. I chose to do something about this on a global scale because this wasn't just me. Now keep in mind, I'm not angry. Actually, I did a lot of work, a lot of healing, a very deep introspective look, and I chose to become the man I am today. I chose to become powerful. I chose to become a very spiritual person, a man of God. And I chose to change the way things were going for all of humanity because I realized that many were suffering, and that's why they were causing others to suffer. Their lack of knowledge, their lack of awareness, their lack of awakening, while they were being told they were the awakening ones, was the root cause of a lot of trauma on the planet, and I chose to do something about it. I was a soldier. Part of our job in the military is to fight for those that can't fight for themselves. That's our job. We're honorable. We're protectors. We're dedicated. We're loyal. We're hardworking. We're intelligent. And we move through these courses of action fearlessly while still maintaining morality. And above all else, we do what we do for the good of everyone. I chose to stay true to those tenets. I have proven myself to be a genuine human being, and I have proven that the accounts against me were absolutely false. Now, for these attacks to have continued for as long as they did, you have to consider the source, consider who was willing to listen, and consider who was orchestrating events in my life to sort of fit a certain narrative just by getting my reactions. There was a lot of trauma for a long time and a lot of buildup, but again, I'm a soldier, so I heal quickly, get back on course, maintain the mission. It's what we do. So I studied. I studied everything I could. I started learning. I started understanding the psychology of all of the people who were the attackers, and I grew to not only understand them but pity them for having the psychological disadvantage that they did. I started to learn about these groups and societies, and I started to learn why they operate the way they do, and I learned that throughout the course of history how it has evolved to the dangerous levels it has of today. and I chose to do something about it. I chose to become energetically powerful enough, healed enough, strong enough, intelligent enough to have a major impact that would help assist everybody on all sides break these cycles and break these chains. Because let's face it, you were all suffering too. You were never on top. This continued flow, this continued movement, this continued learning and growth. I started to love God more and more by the day. I started to love healing more and more by the day. I started to love helping more and more by the day. And I started to make some really high level moves to change the way things are done, because everybody deserves this freedom. In a way, you helped me realize my true potential, and for that I will never be upset. But the scales of justice still need to be balanced. And that's just the reality of the situation. Again, I am going to do nothing to influence the karma that is going to be received by whoever got involved in this. But I'm not angry either. What I'm saying also is, even though the war is done, I don't know how long it's, or if ever, I'm going to be able to consider any of you friends ever again, because some of you I had real love for. And when I was betrayed on that level, it hurt deeply. But I had real love for you. I sent you the love and the light and the information you needed and the spiritual guidance you needed to elevate your own life out of that mediocrity. And I did that for free because I loved you. The fact of the matter is, your betrayal, especially based on a crazy person's word, doesn't allow for you to be psychologically balanced enough to become back in my circle. It's just the reality of the situation. So, what I'm going to need you to do is deal with your karma, because you earned it. There's nothing I choose or can do about that. I am not in control of all things karma. But I personally only fault you for not doing your research before you believed a crazy person. And if you didn't know they were crazy people, well, maybe you should have checked on them before you started putting me under a microscope. I think you should always consider the source before you take a course of action. I think you should have more understanding before you take any course of action throughout life. I have no desire to hate. I have no desire to be angry. I have no desire to do anything but move forward carrying what I carry now, which is a gift from the universe. The ability to help others awaken, realize, be in a state of awareness, and make a different course of decisions for the next generation. So I'm choosing to leave a legacy on this planet of growth, healing, spiritual growth, and general upgrading of everyday life and consciousness, because those are my skills. This is what I'm good at. I hope we can continue on this path, but again, our paths probably will remain parallel, meaning not intersecting at any point, but also not fighting against each other. And honestly, I'm just glad I can breathe again and that the war is finally over, because I never deserved it. But I used it for my benefit, and now I'm going to use it to benefit so many others all across the planet. So thank you, you're welcome, and goodbye.